Hello everybody and welcome to Uproot Reddit. Being a kid in a strict household is tough. One minute your parents allow you to watch your favorite Saturday morning cartoons or play video games or hang out with your friends because you are on your best behavior for a time. Then when you decide to act up or do bad on a school test, your strict parents impose a harsh, cruel punishment on you that seems to last for days, maybe even weeks. It's like their anger looms over you 24/7, 365, making you wonder if what you did warranted such a prolonged punishment. Getting grounded was tough, and we'd do anything to get out of the situation, especially when trying to avoid strict, overbearing parents. Now, watching other kids get grounded by strict, overbearing parents can be just as equally difficult to watch. It makes you wonder if the parents are just going in way over their heads when it comes to punishing their child. Reddit user Painted Sequoia just moved into their new home and was just relaxing. And when it came to meeting the neighbors, well, it's not the usual greeting anybody expected. In today's post, Mama Karen wants me to turn off my TV when her family walks by my apartment because her kid is grounded. How about a no thank you? I just moved into an apartment last week. So far, everyone I've met in passing has been nice. No one has been too loud at unreasonable hours, arguing with each other, stealing parking spaces, and other typical shared space craziness. Yet, at least. Only been here a week. I did, however, encounter a Mama Karen and her 6-ish-year-old son. My apartment is one of those half-in-the-ground units with 2 other floors on top. As such, the top of my patio wall is level to the walking path. If I have my blinds open, you can easily see into my living room and kitchen. This honestly doesn't bother me. The weather is finally really nice here, so after work yesterday, I opened my patio sliding door and blinds to let the cooler air in while playing some Minecraft. After a while, I could hear a couple of women talking outside a few units down. Just general chit-chat. I also heard a smaller kid running around, messing with the gravel along the pathways, and generally just being a bored kid while mommy talked with her friend. Really no big deal at all. Then it happened. I heard one of the women called for the kid. Jason. Jason? Jason! Get over here! Jason! Fake name for protection. I looked up to see the kid standing on the path next to my unit, transfixed on the TV. Uh-oh. He didn't answer quick enough. Mama Karen came stomping over to him and jerked his arm to force him to look at her while she yelled in his face about answering her and to not watch TV, especially someone else's. I thought the way she was acting was overkill, but let it be. He's not my kid and I'm not a parent at all, just to my fur babies, 2 cats. I did pay attention for if things got worse to jump in, but didn't stare. I only looked over when she called out to me to apologize for her son. Note, not for her behavior. I said, it was fine. Mama Karen took him back over to her friend and they continued to talk. Eventually, the kid started playing around near them again. Soon, he was back over at my patio looking in, watching me play. Soon after that, I hear Mama Karen yell at him again. This time, he flinched. Hard. It broke my heart to see the effects of abuse in action and was just frozen staring at her. This time, I jumped up and went to my patio door. She was already at him by then and yelling at him again. I tried to interject to say I truly didn't mind that he was watching me play. Now this is where the Karen aspect comes in. She turned to me sickly sweet, the demon gone for the moment, and kindly explained that dear Jason was grounded and not allowed to even look at a TV. I said bummer dude to him in sympathy. She didn't like that I addressed him and not her. I also don't think she liked that I showed him sympathy instead of instantly taking her side, even though I had no idea why he was punished in the first place. I wouldn't doubt it if it was some asinine, non-existent reason on her part, or her being bothered by normal child behaviors. She then asked me something that blew my mind. Can you please shut off your TV when we're out here? We're usually out here for some outside time for about an hour a day. Or you can just shut your window and blinds. Not gonna lie, the people pleaser I have been raised to be almost said, "Oh, sure, no problem," and was going to do it. Then I stopped myself thinking, what? Telling me what to do in my house? I'm trying to have a shinier spine. I told her, no, I won't. Oh boy, that sure was a trigger word for her. I thought she was going to reach in and jerk me around and yell at me like I was her child. The look was so instantly ticked off. She again explained the situation, fully expecting me to cooperate this time. She laid out her case, and she made the demand again. Not a faux question this time. I again told her no. I came home to relax, and this is how I do it. She asked me if I have kids. I'm solidly child-free, and according to the laws of parenting, my thoughts and opinions are completely and instantly invalid unless I pop out at least one entire, mostly full-term spawn. I told her no, and she smirked. I thought so. Now, I was ready for a lecture on how to handle kids properly or something, but she just jerked her son away back towards the other woman, who I assumed was still there. She said something as she went, but I didn't really hear it, so I don't know if it was to me, her son, or her friend. Maybe even grumbling to herself. I hadn't seen those two before yesterday, but apparently they're out there for at least 1 hour daily around that time. There's a pool, a few barbecue pits, and a grassy area outside my unit in between the surrounding units and buildings. I get to see all the good doggos walking by, and it makes my day. I really hope she doesn't cause issues for me. I just want to live there and not be bothered. I'm not going to help her parent her child. No one else in the whole world should be expected to, except her. I just don't get how she thinks she can ask a total stranger to turn off the TV in their home because she's punishing her child in hers. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. I'm proud of myself for standing my ground, as brief as the encounter was. I worry for the kid though. And here's an update, quote, "Thank you to everyone who has replied, upvoted, and given awards. I was just dropping a rant and didn't expect this to get this big. I have been reading everything. I just couldn't keep up responding to it all. Now I completely get RIP inbox, LOL. So a small development, I called CPS. I thought about it a lot since posting yesterday. I even consulted a few people I know who have been on both sides, reporting and being reported. After telling them the story and hearing their experiences and advice, I decided to go ahead and do it. What really did it for me was that while the kid may have done something to earn the grounding and maybe the mom had a really bad millennia that exploded in that moment, her physically jerking him around, yelling in his face, and especially his reactions pushed me to do it for his benefit. I did it anonymously and don't know which exact unit she's in. I was kind of surprised that I talked to an actual person. At first, she kind of had the tone of just taking a general complaint. As soon as I explained the kid's reactions, especially being completely nonverbal when being yelled at and shook, she took more interest. I was warned that this call didn't guarantee an investigation. Also, that it could take time to start and even more time to conclude depending on various factors, me not knowing the exact unit number being one of them. So far, I haven't seen Mama Karen or the kid today to play spy on that part, and I'm afraid to ask around in case someone gives her a heads up. If she happens to bother me more, I'll tell the front office. For now, because I just moved in, I don't want to make it seem like I'm going to be that strict, nosy neighbor that reports every little thing, even if a legitimate worry in this case. I will get an outdoor cam and a paycheck or two. I just moved in. I'm broke. Hopefully, I won't have to update again at all, or that it will be some time and with good news. And you know, a better counter argument against this entitled mom is this. How about you mind your own household? You have no right to tell other people to turn off their television just because your kid is grounded from watching any TV. Also, you're taking the punishment way too far if you're going to react that way. It's not so much about parenting at that point as kids have feelings if you didn't already recognize that. Seriously, strict overbearing parenting is not the way to go. And you don't have to have a kid to recognize that. Now, when kids grow up and do their own adulting, the last thing a strict overbearing parent should do is dictate every part of their livelihood, all the way down to what grandchild the parents want. Who has control over that anyways? According to Reddit user I Love Pizza 32, which by the way is a great name, has parents who think they have some sort of mystic ability to command their children to bear a grandchild of their choosing, of which they don't and never will. So when their children don't fulfill their request, they get all upset. In today's post, give us a biological grandchild, and it better be male. You see what's wrong with I Love Pizza 32's parent statement? Listen to what happened. Quote, "Since someone who is probably a lot of fun to be around pointed out that this is a repost, let me just tell you that I had posted this on AITA weeks earlier. I wanted to post on this sub at the time, but I didn't have comment karma. Not much has changed since the events I wrote about in my AITA update. My brother and my sister-in-law have been married for 6 years. I love them both dearly. They adopted a little girl about a year ago. My parents were happy about this too at first. They got really angry when my brother and sister-in-law announced recently that their daughter would be their only child and they do not want biological kids. My mom and dad lost it. They told my brother he had to get my sister-in-law pregnant. He was the family's male heir and he would have to have a biological son to carry forward the family name. This makes no sense to me, nor my brother and sister-in-law. It's not as if we're a family of European royalty. Who gives a flip about the family name in this day and age? Well, my parents do apparently. They've been berating my brother and guilt-tripping my sister-in-law, making her feel like she's taking something away from our family. On one occasion, they actually suggested that my brother leave my sister-in-law if she didn't want to get pregnant and have a son with another woman. What's even worse is that they've stopped paying attention to my niece. Earlier, they would call and talk to her almost every day. But ever since they were told about my brother and sister-in-law's decision, they've stopped calling her. This ticks me off and has deeply saddened my brother and sister-in-law. The child is 3 years old and doesn't deserve this kind of treatment. Last month, brother told me that mom and dad had called him and they had talked about something unrelated. When he asked if they wanted to talk to their granddaughter, they said they talked to their real grandchild when my brother came to his senses and decided to give them one. I was angrier than I've been in a long time. I called my parents and unloaded on them. I told them how selfish and cruel they were being and how dare they take out their anger on my niece, along with a lot of other things I can't even remember. My mom started crying as she's not used to being yelled at. I used some very harsh words, but I just can't believe they're being so cruel towards an innocent child. After that, my parents have tried to rally our relatives, uncles, aunts, cousins, and our grandparents to gang up on my brother and sister-in-law to pressure them to have a biological child, male obviously. However, their plan has failed miserably. Most of the relatives told them they were being crazy. Cousins repeated some of the things that I had said to them. Uncles and aunts told them even if they did want a biological grandson, there was no excuse for the way they were treating my niece. Even my grandparents, who are quite old-fashioned, admonished them for their behavior towards my niece. My brother has banned them from his home, I've banned them from mine, and this ban will stay in place until they start treating my niece like their granddaughter, the way she deserves to be treated. I feel like my grandparents shunning my niece hurts even more because when she first became a part of the family, they appeared to love her. They would speak to her on the phone, play with her when they visited. But all of that stopped when they found out that my brother and sister-in-law won't be having any biological kids. They just rejected a little girl for no fault of her own. Well, guess who's not going to go to that granddaughter's graduation or wedding? I think we should be past the whole carry the family name part of the generation. That is such a medieval way of thinking. If anything, they should be grateful that they even have grandkids. Plus, pressuring someone to have a specific biological grandchild is unnecessary pettiness that is beyond childish. But hey, we're dealing with overbearing parents that throw a fit when they don't get what they want. Anyways, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back for more strict parent stories right here on Uproot Reddit. And we'll see you all next time.